Testing, testing, one, two, three. I just did this video tubies and apparently the audio didn't work, so I'm gonna try it again. This video is about ancient Egypt and the pyramids of Giza, as well as the Sphinx. Um, this whole conversation is about questioning what was found and what was discovered. Um, the pyramids of Giza, as well as the Sphinx, were all buried up to their neck. You can find photos of this. It's very obvious. You can find them anywhere. And there was always a they, decided to unearth the Sphinx. And they dug it out, and of course we see the feet, which have been remodeled, and we see the stela. But what we're failing to question and realize or think about in perspective is the fact that the pyramids and the pyramids and the Sphinx were all buried up to the neck, right? So we got everything on the same level in the sand wise. And then they unearthed the Sphinx. So that means that the pyramids themselves also go a little bit further, or should I say further underground. There have been tunnels that have been found. This is also documented behind the head of the Sphinx. This has also been called a library of some sorts, and speculations has been made through different documentaries that there is, some ancient technology. Won't get into that, but these tunnels and as well as the staircase have been detected and found within the Sphinx. Now, my question is, why haven't they unearthed the rest of the pyramids of Giza? Because if they were all buried at one level, up to the neck, which is documented, and they unearthed the Sphinx, and now we got to see the legs and everything, so that means that we're not looking at the full pyramids of Giza. We're looking at literally the top halves of the pyramids of Giza, which means they go a lot further below ground. One of my favorite movies, The Mummy, is a very great example of this. In the very beginning of The Mummy, it starts off with Imhotep being buried at the foot of Anubis. This is a very tall statue. They made it look and seem tall in the movie. And then by the time the French legionnaires come in, right, and doing their shooting and everything, fighting over the land, the statue of Anubis is buried up to his neck. That's the level of ground that Egypt is at that point when they're fighting over it. So that means there's like levels and levels and levels of ground underneath that hasn't been discovered. When O'Connell's character gets cornered and is about to get shot, supposedly, he stops at the head of Anubis. And the weird sounds come out and the guys get turned away and they don't shoot him. It's a spiritual thing. But we're missing the perspective on the fact that the ground level of Egypt has risen. And what we think is the top is actually not. It's the top of the bottom, so to speak. The feet of Anubis went way underground. And that meant that throughout all those years, the sand levels had solidified and become concrete. And this is all through the whole Big Bang thing that we all learned about back in the day. I'm pretty sure that happened. Wasn't there, obviously. But you have to think about it in layers of sediment. Concrete dries and hardens and forms walkways and paths and ground. This same thing can be done over thousands of years. You can form concrete and pathways and ground, and there be millions of deaths beneath you. I mean, we have that right now in our day and age with subways and intricate pipe systems that go beneath on the ground. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around how people build houses. How do you know when and where not to touch a pipeline because this is running underneath? How do you know when and where to plant this because there's a cable wire there? Like, This is the same type of thing that's going on, or that is happening with Giza. We need to question why can't we see the rest of the pyramid? Because basically what they've been showing us for years is just the top half. And when I say the top half, I just say the top, obviously. The top is the zenith, where the historically said capstone of gold would be. We're seeing from where the capstone would be to about mid-length. We're not seeing the full pyramid. We're seeing the full Sphinx for some apparent reason. Like, they've dug out the Sphinx, but they won't dig out the rest of the pyramids. We need to really question why, people. And think about, the world in general.